Hello, and welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. I would like to introduce you to and welcome our guest today, Tasha Salinas. She is an emotional intelligence embodiment coach, motivational speaker, and former pastor who specializes in guiding others toward self-discovery and inner peace. After a 20-year marriage ended in divorce, Tasha found herself at a crossroads where embracing her own healing journey became the catalyst for a deeper understanding of life's purpose. Known for her warmth, insight, practical wisdom, and a diverse background, Tasha combines emotional intelligence and spiritual awareness to help individuals and organizations thrive and tap into their innate potential. As a passionate speaker and writer, Tasha shares her journey of enlightenment and self-love, reminding others that the key to personal power lies in knowing, trusting, and expressing oneself fully. Tasha's mission is to inspire others to embrace their own awakening and live a life of purpose. Welcome, Tasha.
Thank you so much. I just love hearing you say that. I feel so honored to be introduced in such a fantastic way. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Well,
Wow.
I love your topic today of your lived experience of enlightenment called
Yeah.
embodied emotional intelligence. I just love that because I think honestly, school doesn't do much for us. It's really experience that counts. So
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing about schooling and learning is I think that's where we incur a lot of our injury. Honestly, like think about the playground, man, those streets were tough. So we had to earn our chops somehow, I guess.
oh yeah, don't get me started on school. I used to be a teacher.
Oh, really? Yep.
I know about a lot about what goes on in the school. But let's talk about you instead because this is a much better topic. So tell us about your journey. You a 20-year marriage ended in divorce,
Yeah. Yeah.
and tell us what's going on with you.
Yeah. So honestly, I got married right in college, actually in college. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was a trauma pairing. You know, we both had childhood issues. It was what it was. And it kept me safe for a while. And then I remember my oldest son, he was about 3 years old, and I started having like nightmares and like visions. It was wild. Now I know those were just panic attacks, but I didn't know what was going on. And so I threw myself into the church and I found a little bit of reprieve there, but it just still, I connected with the Bible and I connected with the people, but there are some things that messed with me. And so I was just trying to make sense of my life. Well, long story short, I kind of tumbled through life. And then it was February of 2020. I remember sitting with my then husband in our car and we were in the grocery store parking lot and I was feeling weird. Like it was this like restlessness. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And so I was like, I don't know what's going on, but something's going to be different a year from now. And he was like, okay. Well, like, what do you say to that? And I was like, I heard myself say it, but like I felt the weight of that. And I was like, whatever. And then a month later, COVID hit our city and all hell broke loose. And so for me, all of my repressed fears and anxieties and everything just came out of me. And so I had what I feel like was probably a nervous breakdown, a mental breakdown. I'm not sure, but like I started having like memories come up of things that I didn't ever experience. And so all that to say, like my whole world came crashing down. I initiated the divorce while everybody, like the world was on fire. COVID to me was just the most scary thing because I was watching those numbers and I was feasting all of my energy and attention toward death and fear. And I was looking at it and like in my state, tens of thousands of people each week were being reported having this. So it's just a matter of time before my family got it, is how I felt. And so I remember breaking down and feeling like a failure of a person, a mother, a wife, because my husband and I, we were married, but there was no intimacy there. It was just, I just felt like a shell of a person. So what I did is I just allowed the darkness to take me over. And I know that sounds crazy, but I would allow the panic attacks to come. and I would like run to my closet. I was 40 years old or nearly 40 years old, and I would just sit in the closet and just sit there and just shudder. And it was scary. And I wouldn't scream or anything because I didn't want to go crazy. I was trying to be the good mom for my kids or whatever.
Mm.
But I just finally would like cry it out. And then, Christy, something happened in that closet. I started to, instead of seeing like the monsters, because I would have visions of yucky, yucky, scary things like little kids, like a living nightmare. But then I started imagining like all the clothing in the closet was angels, and that they were singing to me and ministering to me. And it was the weirdest thing. And I, for the first time in my life, felt at peace. And it was like the engine that was my life that was kind of like this, it had turned off. The weirdest thing. And so
Mhm.
that's where I learned what meditation was. I was a pastor, but religion taught me one thing, and no disrespect to religion, but it taught me a framework to believe in. And once I was able to turn inward, that framework came alive in me. And that's where I think really earnestly my journey of enlightenment began. So I can continue on, but that's what like broke me and where I found my me, my I amness.
Well, that's completely valid.
Hmm.
Because sometimes that's what has to happen. You have to have the breakdown, which is
Yeah.
really a breakthrough.
Mm. Yeah.
And then you come out the tunnel on the other side and you're like, wait a minute.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes, absolutely. And that sense of like your paradigm shifting, it's
Mm.
crazy. And it doesn't happen just like that. You know, it does and it doesn't. It never really stops. So I digress.
No, it doesn't stop. And you go, and as long as I think it's imperative. I think what you said about journey inward was the most crucial element of that, because
Mhm,
that's the real story.
mhm, mhm,
If we
mhm.
sit and we obsess about what's going on out here, that's not in our control, and
Mhm.
it's designed to make us be afraid.
Right. Absolutely.
So most of it's fake anyway. So
Mhm, mhm,
but in here, when you're life is an inside job. So
mhm,
I
mhm.
love that you had that breakthrough.
Yeah, yeah.
and and so you initiated a divorce, but how did that change your relationship with your kids?
Yeah, so it was interesting. We I actually had filed for divorce before. I divorced the same man twice. You know, it was 2013, 2014. It was for the same kind of issue. And so the kids had already been through it once.
Mm,
I have three kids, and the two older ones had already been through it. We got back together, and then I had my third child. And then once I had to initiate it the second time, I knew in my heart that this wasn't the aligned relationship for me. I
mhm,
had to be honest with them as I was with myself. And so I told them, and well, you know, of course, my ex-husband, like we had that conversation. We knew for a few months before we told the kids. Very
mm,
intentional divorce. I called it the most Christ-like divorce you would ever see. And because I remained true to my integrity. I'm not gonna hurt somebody to make myself feel better.
mhm.
Intentionally, that is. It's a painful process as it is. So all that to
Yeah.
say, just completely open and honest with the kids, like, this is what it is. And, you know, mommy's going to live here, daddy's going to live here. And it was a challenge, but the kids handled it with the greatest of ease because I think, and I'm so proud to say, I'm feeling the emotion. I created a safe container for them to thrash and question and also
Mhm,
choose joy in the midst of change. And
mhm,
so we had just gone through it with COVID, and, you know, life throws at you stuff. And so I think having that connection is what carried us all through it to where now my kids are just amazing. You know, and I'm like, they are not the statistic. They are not the
mm,
product of divorce that statistics or that society would tell you kids
mm.
usually are. So, and I could go on for the whole day about that. But yeah, that's kind of how we handled it with the kids.
That's excellent. I
Thank you.
love that. So they have a good relationship with both you and their
Yes,
father. That's
absolutely. Yeah. And we have a great relationship. My ex and I do.
uh,
We're appropriately so.
yeah, I understood what you meant,
Yeah.
especially with co-parenting.
Mhm.
When you are able to come, you may not be married anymore, but co-parenting,
Yeah.
that makes a huge difference.
Uh-huh. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
wonderful. Well, wow.
What I'm saying, like, that's the journey of enlightenment, and if I
Mm,
may, I'm just gonna take it and run with it. That's what
yep.
enlightenment is to me, is eliminating the things that are not you. So all the fears, all the thoughts that are, like, keeping you in the life that you know is not truly aligned for you, and how
Mhm,
you know what is aligned for you is that embodied emotional intelligence. If it doesn't feel good, it's likely there's something askew. You're out of alignment. If it doesn't feel good, maybe your thinking's off, or maybe your thinking and your feeling has to be in alignment.
mm,
So if you're in your life and you're like, it makes sense, but I'm not happy, then maybe that's not the path for you. Maybe it doesn't need to make as much sense as you've made it, and you need to trust your intuition a little bit more, your inner feminine, your feeling, that flow, right? I
yeah.
just walked away. Still a single mom, and I'm a solopreneur. Like, I'm on my own, and it's the biggest trust fall ever, but I'm as happy as I can be. And I'm magnetizing love. I'm magnetizing, like my life is just incredible because I'm trusting the intuition and the logic. I'm being emotionally intelligent with how
Mhm,
I operate and how I live. So, all that to say, that's that journey of enlightenment. And so, you have to your point earlier, the breakdown is that breakthrough, is that transformation. And until you're willing to face your fears and dive into your own subconscious, there is no hope of
mm.
actually being sovereign and taking conscious control of your life. And so that's what I believe a chronically healthy life is all about, is once you get that momentum going, it's chronic. Oh, and I would love to make a pun on that here in a little while, but it chronically happens. It just happens, and it's an upward trajectory. So I'm getting excited. Can you tell?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's wonderful. I love the joy and the enthusiasm because well, it's just so powerful. And sometimes I think, and I know people who seem to be genuinely afraid of feeling
Mm,
any joy because they just are
mm,
living as if the next thing is going to crash down on them. And I'm like, well, the first thing you should do is turn off the television and then
mm.
let's go from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
because because is it a genuine fear or is it just manufactured fear?
Yeah. Right.
And and so that there's a emotional intelligence allows you to go, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
take a pause and go, wait, is this really true? And
Right. Mhm.
yeah,
Is it
yeah,
feeding me? Is it
yeah,
feeding me? And you talked about watching the television. Mental diet is huge. So what are you feasting on? There's many people who will turn on the news as they get ready, and they're just
mhm,
subconsciously soaking in all of that politics, all of that, whatever it is that you're listening to. And so, whatever you saturate yourself in will actually permeate your body.
yeah,
It absolutely will. So then you're driving in the car and you're wondering why you're raising your fist at someone of the other
yeah,
political party when you actually don't even care that much, or whatever. You know what I mean? But we start to go on autopilot by what we're feasting on. So, to your point,
yeah,
mental diet, what you're consuming, garbage in, garbage out. And so that
exactly.
matters.
Politics is poison. So I think it's all poison. It doesn't matter what side it is because it's all poison. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I agree with you. I agree with you. It's the same thing on social media.
Mhm.
If don't believe everything you read and don't feel like you are obligated to
Right.
take in stuff that
Mhm.
isn't aligned with you.
Mhm.
So I I have a question.
Okay.
Um, so how old are your kids?
18,
Uh,
16, and 9.
So have they learned? Have they been able to process? I'm interested in this because I think this is critical. That
Yes. Yeah.
raising kids from an aligned point of view, an emotionally intelligent point of view,
Mhm.
makes them grow up to be adults that are phenomenal and they're not struggling with so many things that kids are raised in these dysfunctional, narcissistic families, abusive families, and everything.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
wondering how if you're seeing those manifestations in your kids.
Absolutely, yes. And it's cool because they got to see the old mom and the this mom. You know what I mean? And that transition, the 2 big kids and then the little one. It's interesting because my 2 big kids, I homeschooled them, but again, I was not the healthiest I could be. So they saw a really traumatized individual. They went through the divorce with me. We just talked about that.
Mm,
And then they were like, "You're weird. You're being weird. You're being this way." Cuz I'm huge into consciousness. I'm into
mm,
energetics. I'm into astrology. I'm still very extremely spiritual, not religious in the least bit, but they hear me talk and they don't know the 18-year-old and the 16-year-old. They're like, you're a hippie, but I'm like, no, this is emotions. Emotions are simply energy in motion. And mommy
mm.
loves everything about energy. Energy, Nikola Tesla says, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So when you
Right.
put the fact of the matter that emotions are simply energy in motion and that we are energetic receivers, right? And basically, the label we put to the energetic pulses are emotion. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm this, that, or the other. The thinking and the feeling makes sense. So, as they saw me transition, and I'm able to articulate that because as I change, what I say and how I live and how I treat them and how I respond to my environment changes, they've evolved with me,
Mm,
if that makes sense. So
yeah.
my 18-year-old, my daughter's 18, she's off at college. This is her first year, but she entered as a junior. So she homeschooled herself, self-schooled because I was a working single mom, self-schooled concurrently in college to where she's now living the life of her dreams. She's a theater major with a psychology minor because she wants to make movies where people learn about themselves. Like, I'm proud. My son is 16. He's the same thing. So with him, though, he's had to come into his masculine energy because he's seen a single mom, a woman, nose to the grind, nose to the grind, doing the work, but also like relaxing. He's like, no, mom, you take a load off, you do this, which has taught me to allow a man to, you know what I mean? To like to have
Yeah.
that dynamic. And he's coming into his own as well as being 16. But then I'm like, hold on, no, I'm still the authority. So we're understanding those power dynamics. That's also
Mhm.
emotional intelligence, especially for a 16-year-old kid, a boy who is home alone because he homeschools himself. The little one's in public school. So there's a
Ah,
lot of emotional maturity that's needed and emotional responsibility that they have,
mm,
the big kids. Now that little one, the 9-year-old, he's a public school kid. He only pretty much knows our divorce. He knows us, he knows COVID, he knows us in the middle of the divorce, and now he's different. He's also, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys, he has been bullied. Like last year, he's at a new school. This year, he's very sensitive. And I think that he is one of the new, like this
the
generation,
new
this younger
kids.
generation, they are different.
They
They
are
are our
different.
leaders, and they're the ones that we who
Yeah.
broke those generational curses, they're the ones that are coming anew. So I have to parent him differently. He's huge into Pokemon, and I'm seeing he he actually, I think he has relationships with these, like he understands the different energies. They all have
Uh-huh.
their different energies. And I'm like, we really are evolving as a human species to understand energy, to understand
Hmm.
emotion, to understand this is the mad one, just like the movie Inside Out. We get
Yeah.
to see emotions personified, and that helps us to see ourselves as the observer of the different facets of our psyche. I could go on forever, but that's
Yeah.
what I think happens about those kiddos. I think they see it and they live it and they change with us. As we heal, they heal. Hurt people, healed people heal people. I'm gonna
Hmm.
drop the mic. You got me preaching tonight.
Oh yeah, honey. Well, we're on the same page, so this is
Thank
fun.
you. Mm, mm.
I love that. I love that. And the kids are different today. I'm desperately sorry that your youngest has to be in school. But that don't get me started on that uh, uh, soapbox. But
I might take. I'm now. I'm solopreneur. Like I can do what I want. I could probably pull him out, but he wants to stay, and there's that
oh
tenacious thing that I'm
yeah,
loving in him. And
yeah.
he's good. He's thriving.
Well, vibrationally speaking, it may be that he's thriving there. That's the alignment for him. That he's
Uh-huh.
whatever energetics are going on with the other kids
Good
and the
point.
teachers. Because
Hmm.
teachers, you know what? Teachers are very rarely is there a bad teacher. Most teachers have a big heart and are very kind heart and love kids.
Yeah. Hmm.
And we get totally beaten up by the system because we're trying to
Hmm.
protect the kids, you
Right.
know. And
Right.
so it may be that that's an alignment there.
And his
For the
teacher is absolutely like that. She is diehard for these kids, and I'm like, ma'am, but I like it as a
yeah,
parent. So
yeah,
good perspective.
yeah,
Thank you for that. That helps me.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I'll anytime. um, so so basically, you had your three know yourselves, like know
Yeah.
yourself, trust yourself, and express yourself. So obviously it's going to start with knowing,
Mhm.
because if you don't know yourself, you're not going to express yourself right. You're going to,
Right.
or you're going to come out of trauma, which how many of us do that? I mean, it goes on all the time.
All of us.
So how do we get from, okay, so say we're on the path, we're looking at ourselves, we're examining our patterns, or these fears, are they real, are they not? And maybe it was a fear in childhood, but it's not a fear now. You know, da 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 da. Like in the example of an abusive parent, well, they're gone now, so is that really a fear anymore? And
Right.
etc. Working through it, and then learning to trust yourself. That one is the one that I think people might get stuck on.
All right. Yeah, it's a cool thing. Know yourself exactly right. Like you got to know yourself, and once you get rid of anything that's not you, again, once you go inward and you get quiet, you kind of get rid of all that mental chatter and you get still, then that's when you actually rest in the knowingness of who you are. And when you feel those moments, and yeah, it can be called meditation, it can be called prayer, it could be called whatever, but when you know, when you get to your core peace, then there's that sense of self-trust. Now that's the
Mm,
crux that will change everything, because the expression will happen, because once you're in alignment, you can't help but express your truth, your energy. That's why I'm shining here tonight, because like
mhm,
I'm so happy with the truth. It is the message of salvation. I just want to be clear with you guys. Inner peace is freedom. And so, have you heard the good news? It comes, the expression just happens. So, once you know who you are and you find that center and that divine self, you can see the body, you can see the mind, and you see that you are actually the conscious awareness. That the trust aspect is you can only trust yourself in the right now moment. It keeps
mhm.
you in the present. Because if you're in the past, you're thinking about what happened, you're time traveling. Good job. You're powerful. Get out of the past because you're supposed to be now, right? If you're living in the future, good job. You're powerful. You're still time traveling, but come back because you are a creative being. Now, if you're not intentionally choosing your future, right now, the trust is how you turn that dial, you turn it to become intentional. So if you're looking in the past, you're reacting, you're being very
Mm,
accidental. But if you're in the moment, you're intentional and you make a choice to do the next right thing. So
mhm,
self-trust is a matter of your face, today, for example, I had to write a chapter in a book, 2,000 words. That's a lot of words for just to sit down and crank it out. But I know myself, and I know that I've been given the ability to communicate universal truths that do resonate in the heart of the individual. And so I had to get present and take a deep breath and just trust that it would come. And so I had to pull the reins back after about 3,000 words or so, because there's a lot of edits that need to be made. But that's what does the work, that self-trust in the right now moment. Well, when we get scared, we're
mhm,
living in the future, or maybe we're rehearsing the past. So
mhm,
self-trust is all about just being in the right now moment. And that's how you do incredible feats. You're there. You're in the moment. You're live. So that's it.
mhm. Yep, that's exactly, that is very true. Uh, I know that as a writer and as a teacher,
Ah,
the feeling
man,
for both of them. Yeah, because
we're kindred spirits. I'm
yeah,
liking this, Christy. I'm liking this a lot. Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
I have to talk offline.
We will. You have to tell me twice.
Well, so now, the like, how do you, other than sitting in the closet and screaming into a pillow,
Okay. All right.
how could you, what would you recommend
Mhm,
for
mhm.
audience members who maybe this is either new for, or it
Yeah.
has been something that's a practice that they wish to deepen?
Yes.
to
Yes.
become more connected? What are some ways that might help?
Yeah. So we're going to start in our minds. The number one thing is just to exhale anything that you're saying to yourself or thinking, anything that's pinging, like ricocheting in your head that doesn't feel good. Even if you're convinced that it's true, just don't think about it. Okay. Just exhale and be right now in the moment. So that's you always have your breath.
Mm,
Always. Number 2, you're gonna have to, like, work your body. So sometimes those emotions and those energies can get trapped a lot of times in our hips, a lot of times in our like, in our shoulders. We know how it feels,
mhm,
especially as women, and I'm just gonna call it what it is. We are like, "Well, we need to work out. We're supposed to work out. We're supposed to work out." If you're not enjoying doing it, stop working out, but get that energy moving, whatever that looks like. Go on a walk. Don't call it an exercise. Don't call it a whatever. Just
yeah,
move your body because there's so much societal pressure on women and men, but about exercising and moving your body. And we shame ourselves, and then we're supposed to be skinny and we're supposed to, and that's just adding insult to injury. So if you're in
mhm,
that space, or if anybody's in that space, first of all, come back to your breath, find compassion, and just move your body. And that might be something as minor as, again, just maybe just moving, just, this kind of thing, opening up that
uh-huh.
chest a little bit because it's all energetic.
Oh,
It's
right.
all love and self-compassion. So practically speaking, find that self-love through your breath and then move your body. Get out in the sun. Our bodies
Yeah.
absorb those neutrinos, those the light. It's literally the light consciousness from the sun. It's great to have
Mhm,
the sun on your face. Allow the sun to hit that third eye and just breathe it in. Go outside barefoot on your grass in the morning and get the sun on your face just for 10 whole seconds. Just for 10 whole seconds. Just absorb that good energy as you're grounded, and that sets your energy right. So little things like that. So it's not always about working out or exercising. Drink water. Set your
mm,
intentions. Like, when you have a glass of water, you can actually, hey, this is nourishing me. Thank you. So then you start to overflow with that gratitude. And as you raise your vibration and start to feel better overall, you're going to start making more aligned choices. So instead of trying to logically put yourself into healing, just be free and just follow what feels good, starting by exhaling. Because usually we're like,
yeah.
and once we exhale, then we can take the next step. So that's just practically
Oh,
what I do.
so that's so cool because especially in this day and age when everybody works on a computer and we're like this, what are you
Yes.
doing? You're closing in your chest.
Mhm,
So like
mhm,
just even doing
mhm.
this and breathing. Um,
Yes.
although
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
prefer to get up and move around, but yeah,
Right.
yeah, I used to be a competitive swimmer and I used to get in the pool and pump out laps. And
Yeah.
now one day I just said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't
Uh-huh.
have to know that I'm swimming 1,000 yards or 1,500 yards. I can just enjoy it. So I
Uh-huh.
started meditating while I swim and I just get out when I feel like it. Like some
Isn't
days
that
I go,
great?
yeah, some days I swim for 2 hours and some days I'm in there for 20 minutes and then I feel like I need to get out. And it's
Mhm. Oh,
what
that's
a different
cool.
well, yeah, but isn't that the alignment because you're listening to yourself
Yeah.
and you're
Or you're
just
just
like,
letting it move, letting it do its thing. You're listening to it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. I have this really cool breath thing that I read about, and it's the way you hold your mouth. So like if you breathe in and out with your mouth in an O, that's more for like focus. Like
Oh,
if you're trying to say you're meditating and you want to focus on like you're taking yourself through a self-guided meditation or something.
mhm.
But if you're trying to let go of trauma in your body in
Yeah.
some way, you don't want to do that. You want to have an open mouth.
I love
Isn't
this.
that cool?
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Well, and I tend to over intellectualize everything. So I'm like breathing in for 4 counts and you know what I mean? All this stuff. No, I love that. No brain required, no counting required.
Yeah, yeah. And your body's naturally, and if you
Not
do it,
me in
you
line at the
realize.
bank. I'll be like pumping gas.
Yeah, right.
Do what you gotta do,
Driving.
what you gotta do. I'm staying aligned. See me?
Focus. Well, I'm Tasha. I'm having so much fun talking to you, but I
Mhm,
think it's time to tell our
mhm,
audience how they can reach out to you. How can we find
mm.
you out there in the world?
In the world, you'll find me on any stage. I'm on Facebook. It's coming to a stage near you. On Facebook, Tasha Salinas on my name. TikTok, I have a lot of fun on TikTok. I'm not super social media savvy. The best way, if you want to continue this kind of conversation, is honestly, let's just have a one-on-one because everybody's at a different spot in their journey. We are all kind of waking up to our internal power, and part of that is that yucky period that we talked about of the breakdown. So if you
Mm.
need help, if you're in that breakdown stage, just reach out. There's a QR code on there. Book just a free 30-minute call with me. We'll see our alignment. If we work together, then I do offer one-on-one coaching. I'm also putting together group coaching at a discounted rate. And so I'm just looking at ways that we can kind of get the message that we are all divine human beings, that you're already enlightened. The only thing preventing you from being and feeling enlightened is your belief that you're not. So if you need help, you know where to find me.
Oh, wonderful. So check out the QR code, everybody. All right. Thank you so much for being with us, Tasha.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
Okay, everybody, stay tuned for Kids Corner and we'll be right back.